Well, hi guys, back again. So, done a few things to the K1200. I have bled the ABS system because first time I took it for a ride after putting all the new brakes on, I got a zero movement on the Speedo. Don't know why. People are telling me that it's got something to do with the ABS system not being bled properly. I've bled that twice now. I've bled the brake lines. All the brakes are working fine. I do have a concern with that unit there. That is the speed sensor unit. Now I've actually traced that back up to that plug there. I've pulled it out of the plug and I've put the multimeter in. If I set it to AC volts, about the 2 volt mark on AC, and spin the wheel, I'm actually getting a reading at that plug. So my suspicion is it's got nothing to do with the actual sensor, and the sensor is working fine. Now the only thing that I've done since the Speedo was working to the time the Speedo wasn't working is replace those brake lines as you saw last time. So as you can see, I've got the bike stripped down trying to find a solution. While I'm trying to find that, I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I had a lot of flaking paint or bubbled paint on that valve cover. So what I'm doing is I'm just sanding that off at the moment. I've got it not too bad. It'll come up a bit better than that. I'll get all this nice and smooth. I'll respray that. I won't take it off because I don't want to replace the gasket. So I'll try and take that off as best I can around here. Mask it all off. Give it a coat of paint. The other thing I've done is, because I've got the covers off, I had a few little cracks on these covers. So on that one, there was a huge crack that went right around, so that's just a bit of araldite. I've mixed that up, I've glued it all in there, trying to hold that together. You can see someone's had a crack at it before. Let's say there's been a few little dings and dents. There is a few scratches on these. I am toying with the idea of getting some matching spray paint. You can see a few little scratches on this one, and having a go at painting them. There's no stickers, there's only the badge, so I should be able to paint them all right. Will it match though to the rest of the bodywork when I put it back on? I've got no idea. I'll get this painted first. I'll go back to these brakes and see if I can bleed them again. Who knows what's going on, but I cannot get a signal to that Speedo. Anyway, if I work it out, I'll let you guys know. Thanks. Hi guys, so we are going to give this a bit of a paint if I can. I'm just going to wipe this off with a bit of Terps. I've given it a bit of a hit with the leaf blower to get any dust off. As you can see, I've tried to tape up as best I can. I'll let that just dry off. I'll give it a hit with it. Oh, good on you. Hit up with that blower. Just using this high heat enamel or engine enamel. It's similar colour, doesn't need to match anything. Once it's painted, it's painted. I just want to try and get done before this weather comes in. Just, I don't know if it's going to rain. It was boiling hot here 10 minutes ago. We'll lay some layers down and see how it goes. Alright, let's just see how it goes on. a bit of a mark there. Well, I think that's where the fairings rubbed. It could have been a repair job actually. Anyway, I'll keep giving this a few coats and see how it comes up. It's probably not going to be perfect. Looks like someone's had a repairs on this before. Well, that's had 2 coats. Obviously where those repair jobs are, the paint reacts differently. It's got a different coating. I'll sand that back a little bit with maybe some 1200 grit or something and get a bit of a smoother finish, and then give it another couple of coats. We'll see how that goes. Oh, there's a few marks just coming through, so I've hit it with a couple of coats of undercoat first and sanded it back, just getting the undercoat sort of using as a bit of a filler in some of those little grooves. I'll put a final coat on shortly. Right, I've finished doing all the painting on the engine covers, but still can't get the Speedo working. I'm getting a signal out of this, but it's very weak, and a lot of people think that this gets pinched, so I'm going to just pop that off. Just loosen this off now, and I'm going to pop this off and just see what's going on. I think it's about it might be a $17 or $18 part, I don't know, to replace this cable. You can see, oh yeah, you can see that. I don't know if I can repair that or not. I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to try and repair that, see what happens. Okay, I'll cut a bit away and just see what we've got. I've stripped those wires back a bit, and you can see the brown wire is completely disconnected, and the yellow one here is a little bit shabby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and disconnect it. Connects up here and back here and gets routed along here. So I'll cut these zip ties and see if I can pull that out, and we'll test some of my soldering skills. Okay, that's where it connects up here under the seat. I've just pulled that out of that little connector there. As I say, I'll cut some of these ties and it just seems to feed back down along the frame, so I'll get that out now. Right, so I've just cut those zip ties along the frame and along that brake line. Just be careful if you're doing this. It seems pretty rigid, but that was just zip tied along there. The last bit is just to get the sensor out, and then that whole cable can be taken to the workbench for soldering. Now, I've just read online that the little disc that's inside here that picks up the sensor picks up can sometimes come loose from the hub and freely spin. It doesn't want to come out. Okay. This might need a little bit of prying up. Here we go. That's got it. Alright, so in there, I don't know if we're going to see it, there is I'll have a look, but there's a piece or a plate that goes over the hub, and as you spin the wheel, that should move with it. I think that's moving. I've got a bit of sunlight in my eye, but I think that's moving. We'll get this resoled and we'll have a look at that as a secondary option if that doesn't work. Right, I've stripped these wires back and I've actually disconnected, as you can see, so the two ends are separate. The other one. Oh, focus. So I'm going to set it up in this little contraption here, and we'll try and solder these back. Right, so what I've done is I've just stripped those wires back. I've twisted them together. Let's get a bit of focus on that. got a tiny bit of heat shrink ready to go over the top once they're soldered, and I've got a big fat piece of heat shrink down here that I'll put over the whole lot, but I obviously need to isolate each one once so they don't short circuit. Now we'll try my soldering skills. They are not the best, but we'll see how they go. That's the finished product. I'll connect that quickly and just see if I can get a signal at the Speedo. Just give me a couple of minutes to connect this up and we'll see. Okay, it's all working. Well, pretty happy with that. It's been a bit of a long episode with painting and getting panels off and repairing them and doing a few odd jobs, but that is actually fixed now. Obviously I'll fix that up, and the bolt's not even in that caliper yet, so I'll put that bolt in the caliper. I've only ridden it up and down the driveway just to make sure it's working. Certainly, well, it works up until 25 kilometers per hour, so that's good. I'm working on the theory that that is now fixed. I will zip tie that up, and that'll probably be the end of this episode. Don't know if there's much more to do on this bike. There's probably a bit of paint on the panels, but at the moment, quite happy with how it's going.